This is the EICO or EICO ST70. Not sure how it's pronounced. Built way before I was born. The unit does work. I'm going to show you that and then talk a little bit more about it. Let's do the turntable stage. Phono stage first. Let's see. It's on phono A. Let's come over here to the level. There we go. Left and right. Oops, sorry. The turntable is grounded. I just have something that goes to a screw and back. If you're using a turntable, you'll need to loosen up one of those screws or put some sort of a ground connection on it. I don't think there's one on the back, but I saw. Okay, next let's go over to I think I have the CD player on auxiliary. Okay, there we go. Left and right. Okay, let's go through some of the controls here. I'm assuming that reverses speaker phase. I can't tell. High filter. Actually, for high filter, it probably cuts off at about 8K. That is really a low high filter. Low filter, same thing. You probably can't hear it on the iPhone microphone, but you can definitely hear that. Loudness is not working. It reduces the volume and creates much more bass. And maybe that's the way it was meant to work. Sorry, back then, but not like any loudness I know. So there is one issue. That's a problem. Tape monitor on, and then I guess you can switch between equalizer or tape. I don't have either one of those, but we see it does cut out. Let's see what else. Let's check the treble. I'm sure you can hear that. Bass. You can hear that. You've already heard the balance. All sorts of crazy options here. In the mode, stereo, reverse, mono, they call left channel 1 and right channel 2, or vice versa, I can't remember. Mono combination, we come over here, channel 2 only, channel 1 only. Everything seems to work fine. We'll go through these, but the only ones I'm checking are the auxiliary and the phono. So we know the phono stage works and the amplifier works. If there's any other issues, it's probably within that switch. Let's see, let's turn this down. Cosmetically, it's in pretty good shape. I'm going to take a handful of pictures, post them on my site and eBay. eBay limits me to 12. If you need more, message me. The front, it's missing 2 of the little gold inserts in the knobs. What else? A little rough here at the top. So here, this is what I did. This came from the original owner. He's got all the paperwork with it. These originally kits, he built it himself. Wrong folder, sorry. Let's try again. Where are we? Sorry. Darn it. Is that it? No, that's not it either. Here we go. Okay. Everything we need. Even the receipt from, let's see, paid $82 for it and got a 1% discount of 83 cents in 1964 when I was born. All the instructions come with this. It was a kit. He's got the entire, where is it? Should have been a little more organized here. Construction book for putting it together, which is great if you have any issues with it. And then you've got the instruction manual here. As I mentioned, he's the original owner. He used it, put it away, and switched to some Pioneer gear. I think every component on this is original. Taking a look at it, he was pretty meticulous. I didn't mention that he ever upgraded anything. The tubes are all EICO. Everything looks original, which to some may sound great, but considering it's 1964, 55 years old, that really amounts to there's not a single component on this unit that isn't ready to fail. I'm selling this as parts not working because I don't want it to come back. This really needs to go to somebody who knows these units. If you hang out on DIY or Audio Karma, then this is probably for you. It's a great sounding unit, 35 watts Class A per channel. It is loud. Sounds like 100 watts AB. The first thing I did, took it apart, blew all the dust out of it, and absolutely soaked the pots and the switches with, I think I went through a can of deoxit, and then the, what is that, the gold contact stuff that goes on these switches. I worked them back and forth. Surprisingly, they all sound fantastic. There's no crackling at all. So I don't know if that's a testament of how good the components were or how good that deoxit stuff is, or how good I am at cleaning stuff. The loudness switch is an issue. I don't think it's a switch. There's a couple caps off of that. Again, maybe that's the way it was supposed to work. There's a couple of weird things here. As I mentioned, the phase, speaker phase, that work. This is a very odd thing, the balance. It has to do with sort of a test method to adjust for different efficiency speakers. And it's all in the manual. You can read up about that. I did go through it and try it, and it does work. I don't know if I would ever use it. Power switch is on the treble. Something they used to do in the old days. I don't know why. If you pick this up, read the instruction manual on page 4 or 5 before you hook up the speakers. It is a weird setup. Maybe that's the way they did it on tube gear back in the 60s, but I'm glad I read it before I hook this up. Otherwise, I may really be selling this as parts. Inputs are a little odd also. Again, read through the manual for the labeling. It's not left and right, it's channel 1 and 2, so it can be a little confusing, but yeah, just go through it before you hook it up. Now, the idea behind this is this is a great amp, but it's probably going to need some attention. I don't want this going to somebody who doesn't know how to work on these things. A capacitor could go out in a week after purchasing it, and you take it to your local hi-fi guy, and he's going to charge you $80, put a new cap in it, and say, "Hey, see you in a week," when another cap fails. Realistically, this would be a great amp to rebuild or use it as it is, and just be somebody who knows how to repair them. I'm sure this thing is going to sound 5 to 10 times better with all new tubes and caps in it. As the case with any gear that has 55-year-old tubes and caps in it. Tubes are fairly straightforward. And there are bias adjustments, I believe, for many of the tubes, and the instructions will go through that on how to set those. Caps, there's a ton of them here, as you can see from the pictures. You could probably replace every single cap in this for under $100 in parts, and a week's worth of your time. You take it to your local repair shop, and you're going to make them a very wealthy man, and you're going to have a very overpriced amplifier. So that really is my intent, to get this into the hands of somebody who knows these things and isn't afraid to get in and tinker with them. The great thing about this is it was a kit originally. It has the complete manual and schematic for assembly. Every single part is identified. This isn't like rebuilding an old Threshold power amp where halfway through you come across some component with a house number on it, and you've got to spend a week on the internet trying to find somebody who knows what the equivalent is, or hope that Nelson Pass catches your post on DIY and even remembers that part. Everything is in here, and it should be it would be an easy repair or rebuild. If you're a beginner and this is something you want to get into, this is probably a perfect thing for that. You'll be an expert at soldering by the time you're done. But as I said, it works fine now, but I'm not guaranteeing this thing, past past the 5 minutes I've been using it. It's just too old. I'll take more pictures, post them, ask questions, take a close look at everything. As I mentioned, if this is something you pick up, do read the manual before you start hooking it up. It is weird. Maybe I can show you a shot of what we've done back here. If I get this back here. It's set up for, it can be used with a center speaker too. I have no idea what that's all about, but it gets very confusing how the hookups are. But the manual explains it all. It all makes sense. And of course there's my temporary ground for the turntable. And I think that's it. One last look. Let's turn it off. All right, thank you.